I'm here today in Middlesex University with the Associate Head of Advertising Department in Nike London, Mr. Christian Donov, and we're going to discuss the question, how important is gender representation in sport commercials? So I'm going to ask you a few questions if you don't mind, but first of all, would you like any tea or water?
No, thank you.
Alright, let's start. Regarding to your position in Nike company, how well do the people you work with treat your colleagues from other departments? Is there any discrimination between men and women?
To be honest with you, Elizabeth, when I first joined the Nike team in 2002, I felt like there was no discrimination between men and women in the company. Probably that was due to the fact that I was working in another department and most of the colleagues were women as we were dealing with the design of the clothes and trainers.
Okay. You said that was the situation in 2002. How is it different now?
I'm working with one of the most talented men and women worldwide, but I can definitely say that there is this strange tension between both of the genders. Women feel more empowered now as they work in the advertising industry, and I'm brave enough to say that I think they have more potential than men in this job. Being responsible for the commercials of Nike is a big deal, and you have to be very creative and imaginative because we always have to be up to date with what people want to wear.
Okay. Can you tell me how important is gender in sport commercials then?
Look, Elizabeth, we have always aimed to target a very broad target audience. We don't exclude neither women nor men. However, as a head of the advertising department, I can say that when we think of an idea of a new commercial, most people who come to our auditions are men. We don't use the same models for every commercial as we want to show people that Nike is a global brand and everyone can be in the commercial.
Okay, that was a good answer. Does this mean that you prefer men than women for your commercials?
That means that we expect more men to show up to our auditions rather than women, but when we see a woman, we don't cross her name on the list immediately. Every person has the right to show his talent and to be part of the Nike team.
Okay, another thing I wanted to ask you, Mr. Andonov, is what do you think sport teaches women?
Well, sport teaches everyone the same things, either you're a man or a woman. I think one of the most important qualities is the discipline. When I was younger, I was a football player, and sport taught me how to be more disciplined and concentrated in the game and in the life in general. Women often feel they aren't fit enough, and sport can increase their self esteem and self confidence, and also can give them a sense of control over their bodies.
Okay, can you tell me more about the commercial The Getaway published in 2009?
I knew you were going to ask me about this one.
Okay, was the main character supposed to be a man originally?
As I said in one interview, a bank robbery gateway is more than it seems. I remember when my colleague Amy first came up with the idea for this commercial. She presented me the idea, but I had to think a lot about what gender would be appropriate for this commercial. Then she told me a story about her little daughter who was taking her brother's gum toys and was always playing a bank robbery game. Then I thought, if a little girl can do it, why don't we do it in our commercial? That is how I decided to use a woman dressed like a man, and to be more interesting, we showed her face at the end.
Can I ask you about one of your main competitors, Adidas?
Go for it, I would be happy to answer your question.
Adidas made a commercial in 2012 including two famous faces, Nicki Minaj and Big Sean. I know that you also use many celebrities in your commercials, but why do you think Adidas use both men and women celebrities in their commercials?
That's a really hard question. You say you aren't studying journalism. Well, I know the executive head of Adidas, Mark. He's a close friend of mine. I can't say for sure why they choose a lot of famous women in their commercial, but I can say why we don't use them in ours. Nike is a sport brand. Everyone can wear Nike, but we are aiming with our commercials to show the world how the sport works. We have contracts with a lot of football and basketball players, and we want our viewers to identify themselves with the famous ones. Our motto is just do it because everyone can do it. When you have a dream, chase it, go after it, and never stop dreaming.
So, do you say that Adidas wants to target people who love sport, music, fashion, and Nike doesn't?
I want to say that Adidas is stepping a little bit out of their original idea as a sport brand, but no one says this is a bad thing. This is why Nike and Adidas are two different brands.
My last question to you, Mr. Andonov, is.
You can call me Christo.
Oh, okay. Okay, Christo, my last question to you is what are your future plans for commercials? Will the main characters be men or women?
We have new spring summer collection coming up in 2 months, both for men and women, and our idea is to include equal number of both genders in the commercials. I can't reveal more, but let's just say no one will be discriminated from our sports brand.
That was a perfect answer with which we can end our interview with the Associate Head of Advertising Department in London, Mr. Christo Andonov. Thank you very much for your cooperation and for your time, Christo. Looking forward to speak to you again.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I hope Nike Company was helpful to you in your research.
Thank you, bye.